Randall Hughes with God Glorified, and we're commenting on today's Bible reading for June the 6th. And we began the book of Proverbs. We're in the year around 961 BC during Solomon's reign. And this is the reading for possibly the next few days in the book of Proverbs. And so these are instructions that Solomon gives to his son, and some great words of wisdom that he shares. And the book of Proverbs is there's oftentimes, and this is I'm going to share some things. This is several years ago. Brother Woodward, Raymond Woodward, did a camp meeting for us and was the day Bible teacher. And he spoke on the wisdom literature and spoke on Job and Proverbs, and I believe he may have addressed Psalms and Song of Solomon. I did not do very good when we read the Song of Solomon and remembering much of what he shared on that one, other than it seemed like it was allegorical of the love of God and the church, corresponding to the man and the wife. With the book of Job, and I did mention this at the beginning of the reading of Job, the book of Job is not a reason for the why, but it's the how. And I remember Brother Woodward saying about the book of Proverbs that, this is just some of my recollections from several years ago, that the book of Proverbs is, oftentimes people would ask him, is this a heaven or hell issue? Will I go to hell if I do this? It's really not the way to live your life. That's really not the best question. According to Brother Woodward, the best question is it wise? And so there's a lot of things in life that you can do and go to heaven, but is it wise? And then what will others do when they see you do that? What kind of license will that give someone else if they think, oh, well, that pastor or that minister or that leader or whatever, there's people that follow you. The question is not a matter of if you're a leader. It's what kind of leader are you, because somebody somewhere is following you, whether it's just your children or whoever. There's somebody that sees you and watches you and is following in you. And so you want to put a good path before them to follow. And God help me. And I try to instruct those that may be following when I make mistakes to say, hey, this is something to avoid, the pitfalls. Don't want to get involved in that, because that's something that can cause a struggle and it's going to bring you down. And the book of Proverbs, according to Brother Woodward, and I believe this is sound teaching, has 4 seats that it talks about. There's the seat of the wise, the seat of the simple, the seat of the scorner, and the seat of the fool. And we all have opportunities to sit in those seats. And the seat of the simple is where we are when we're unlearned. And so we can be in the seat of the simple at any given moment when we face ourselves with a new whatever, a new job, new software, new computer, new phone. There's all kinds of things that we approach in life, and we are pushed into this chair of the simple because it's maybe paths we've just not been down before. And it's up to us to how we maneuver from the chairs. And I do not recall all the applications and all the ways, but as we read, you will hear those words mentioned frequently: the fool, or the scorner, or the simple, or the wise. And so the challenge is for us to, when we find ourselves in the seat of the simple, not to stay there, but to learn what we need to learn so that we can move to the seat of the wise. And that when we are if we should find ourselves, God forbid, in the seat of the scornful or the fool, that we would not stay there long without getting on our knees and saying, God, help me to maneuver from here. Help me to gain understanding and wisdom to live my life in a way that's pleasing to you, in a way that's going to be fruitful and be prosperous to the kingdom. And if you're prosperous to the kingdom, I believe you will be prosperous to yourself as well, that God will bless. That at the end of life, the thing that matters is that he says, well done. And I believe he will only say, well done, if you have done well. And so that's the challenge today, is to live our lives, to listen to the wisdom of Solomon in these wise years before he became jaded and cynical, as we will see when we get to the book of Ecclesiastes. And so we want to be fruitful in our lives, that it produces fruit and that it produces wisdom for others to follow in, that we can share with others. And so some great verses that some of them are very familiar verses that jump out. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And so I'm going to say this. I may have mentioned it before. I had a tremendous pastor and pastor's wife, and I still do. They're just a different pastor and pastor's wife than I'm referencing right now. And years ago, Sister Whalen, Brother Whalen, and Sister Whalen, Brother Robert Whalen, and Geraldine Whalen were my pastor and pastor's wife for many years. And as my junior high Sunday school teacher, Sister Whalen would put up sayings around the room. And this is one of the sayings that was on the wall at some point in the junior high classroom. And it said, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. And so we want to be careful. It all starts with our thoughts. That's why Jesus warns against thinking and looking on a woman to lust for adultery, or hating a brother or sister, and that hatred building up in your mind and your heart. The way that what's coming from our mouth is a reflection of the heart, and it all starts in the mind. And so we've got to guard our hearts. We've got to keep our mind focused. And Philippians 4:8 is a passage that tells us things to think on that can keep us safely within the boundaries of life, so that we can be prosperous and fruitful for the kingdom. And so that's our comments for today for Proverbs chapters 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And so I pray that it's a blessing to you. God bless you. Have a great day.